at number 5 we have Cartoon Cat. Cartoon Cat is one of the most well-known cryptids. Cartoon Cat is a tall, cartoon-like black feline creature. It has a slender body with white beady eyes. He wears white gloves similar to that of Mickey Mouse. His teeth are sharp and he often snarls at those he meets. His teeth appear to be blood-stained. Another disturbing feature to the creature are his feet, or rather the fact he doesn't have any at all. Instead of having feet, he has footless sharp legs. They are like two sharp points that scratch on the floor as he walks. Cartoon Cat can change his size as he pleases, but the tallest he has ever reached is that of a 2-story building. We know that he knows his actions are horrific, but he commits them anyway. He is intelligent and knows what his actions mean. This leads people to believe he is truly an evil being. Not only is he evil, but he has a lot of powers making him dangerous. He is a shapeshifter, meaning he can extend and warp his body. He can also be in multiple places at one time. His powers making him near impossible to capture or destroy. He can warp between dimensions. He can also use this to warp his enemy's reality. He doesn't obey traditional laws of life. He can make his body malleable, making him able to get through any space. There is no way to hide from him. Due to this, he is feared even among the other monsters. Trevor Henderson himself has even explained that Cartoon Cat is the most dangerous creature in his collection. Cartoon Cat's goal or motive is to kidnap his victims. There is usually no way for them to escape or evade him. He can trap them in alternate dimensions, where there is no one to help and nowhere to run. Once you have been captured by him, he will commit unspeakable atrocities, all ending in him consuming his victim. Coming in at number 4 we have Behemoth. The Behemoth is an enormous creature, is the largest of all the giants. It's unknown just how large the creature is, as only a fraction of it has ever been seen. It has some unique abilities that the other giants do not, making it the most famous. The one time that the Behemoth was captured on camera, you can see how truly giant it really is. Only the head of the creature is visible, but it is already as tall as the entire mountain. It appears the creature is covered in pale white scales, some of which look damaged. It is believed the creature may have been captured. It might have been stored under the mountain to keep everyone safe from its abilities. Given its size, it is likely the creature was able to break free and find its way to the surface. People have compared the giant's features to that of an iguana. This could mean the giant was created due to experiments or natural exposure to something that altered its DNA. Some believe the creature is from another dimension. His kind somehow figured out how to break through the barrier to our world and invaded. Some say that Behemoth is the ruler of the giants, acting like a god figure to them. This makes him more dangerous as he can not only cause great destruction but has an army of giants who follows his command. Due to his enormous size, the Behemoth is destructive even when docile. He has the ability to crush an entire city with ease. Monsters this size can also cause huge earthquakes on a 12-point scale. This is enough to bring down even large mountains. The creature is able to travel undetected as it can burrow underground. It's believed they create a tunnel system underground so that they can move around as they please. When the creature wants to inflict damage on those around it, it will let out its roar. This causes massive sonic damage, deafening anyone who hears it. Coming in at number 3 we have Misty Guest 1. There are 3 Misty Guests that have appeared so far, each one terrifying in size, but we are going to be looking at Misty Guest 1, also known as the Web Kraken. It can be explained as a spider or octopus-like creature. It is over 177 feet tall. It towers over everything. We can see that its body is blood red. It has long legs, much like a spider that no one has ever seen the end of. It appears only in the mist as to not be identified from far off distances. It is assumed due to its enormous size that the Web Kraken is a giant, although unlike the previous, it is not intelligent. It seems to just roam, causing destruction in its path with no reasoning. Given its name the Web Kraken, you might have guessed it likes to create spider-like webs for humans to wander into. Once you are caught in its web, it deems if you are worthy. Very Thor-like. If you are not worthy to ascend, it will consume you whole. It can easily devour humans or even large vehicles whole. The creature does have a weakness. Much like spiders, it fears fire. This destroys its webs. If you could create a fire big enough, the Kraken would flee in fear. However, no one has ever seen one of these creatures perish, so you can save yourself, but you may not be able to stop them permanently. Don't underestimate the creature. Although it is giant in size, it can move at high speeds. It will sometimes freeze when noticed, but once you let your guard down, it can take a hold of you before you even notice it has moved. Coming in at number 2, we have upside down face. The man with the upside down face could easily be mistaken for a demon. He is a dangerous cryptid who can cause disasters or influence people's actions. His appearance is that of an adult man, with his head turned completely upside down. He is always seen with an eerie smile. His eyes are pitch black like black holes. He has been pictured wearing a black suit with a white shirt and tie. He seems to appear formal. This could be a disguise to try not stand out in a crowd. The origin of the cryptid is unknown, but due to his first sightings being in Budapest, many believe he is from Hungary. His first appearance was in the 1910s. He was spotted around the world between then and the 1960s. Since then, his appearances seem to have stopped. Some believe he has disappeared for good, but there is no way to truly know this. While he was active, he was given the nickname the patron saint of car wrecks, as well as natural disasters, misery. He is always seen near disastrous events, mostly near car crashes, but sometimes he is drawn to general misery and suffering. This could explain why he was most active during the time of both world wars. He feeds off of the suffering of humankind. There were plenty of that for him to feed off during the war. When there is not enough suffering from him to feed off, he will create misery. He will cause crashes. Some believe he can even create plagues to cause mass suffering. Of course, anyone would notice someone walking around with an upside down face. It is believed his true form is only captured in photographs. You would not notice it at the time, but once the photo develops, you will be horrified to see him hidden within the image. He has been captured on film a number of times now, but no one at the scene saw him at the time. He has also been known to kidnap large groups of people. A whole town can suddenly disappear into thin air like they were never there. It is unclear how he is able to do this or what he does with his victims, but they are never seen again and no evidence of what happened to them is ever found. And finally, in at number 1, we have Siren Head. Siren Head is both a creation of Trevor Henderson and an urban legend. He gained a lot of attention in recent years for being a terrifying villain. He is a 40-foot tall humanoid creature. He has a skeletal frame, body covered in dried flesh. Where the head of a skeleton should be, he has a number of sirens. He can also reform them to look like a streetlight. Inside, the sirens appear to be the creature's mouth. It both creates sound from these sirens and also consumes its victims. His speakers can create various types of loud noises, including voices. It can mimic perfectly human voices from its previous victims. It will often use this to pick off a member of a group and then use that voice to lure others into its trap. It's typically known to make an air raid siren noise as well as an emergency broadcast to try and disorientate its victims. Siren Head can travel at high speeds and is very intelligent when it comes to avoiding capture and fighting off any attackers who might try to contain him. He will mostly use stealth to lure people alone so he can attack without causing others to be aware of his presence. Some also believe he is capable of dimensional travel and can disappear as and when he needs to. Siren Head is not a being from our reality. Some say he is not limited by our laws of nature. He can change manifestation, appearing different in each victim's view of him. It is not known how Siren Head came to be. Some think he was an experiment gone wrong, and others believe he has come from a different world. Some theories say he is an all-powerful, all-knowing being who is unstoppable in our world. He is a very aggressive, monstrous creature. It understands humans but shows no sympathy to their cries for mercy. Siren Head seems to be developing and learning how to create the most destruction with his powers. One of the latest sightings and reportings of Siren Head describes the aftermath of him taking out an entire town. In a never-before-seen tactic from the creature, he burst the eardrums of everyone in the town, causing mass casualties. He left all of the residents behind, meaning he is no longer consuming his victims. This change in behavior is disturbing as no one knows just how much he is capable of. Coming in at number 5, we have Long Horse. This creature has a horse skull for a head and has an extremely long neck with pieces of what appears to be a mane hanging over the neck. Its long neck bends like a finger, which can allow this creature to create as many or as little joints as possible, and can create extremely loud cracking noises that will send chills down your spine. It basically looks like a massive bony snake with a skull horse head, and it scares you just by looking at it. The Long Horse is one of the few Trevor Henderson creatures that has so many different abilities, such as teleportation, body manipulation, extreme regeneration, immortality, dream and reality manipulation, ability to infinitely expand its neck, and can regrow his bones if torn off. Despite its terrifying appearance, it's said to not be harmful to humans, but its appearance is most definitely scarier than a demon. It is said that the Long Horse is the human's protector. Its goal is to warn humans of upcoming danger and disasters to come. The sign he shows to humans is supposedly when you hear the loud cracking of its neck or actually see the creature. That's your sign sign a disaster is coming your way. Another theory is that he actually is a hunter of humans, despite other Trevor Henderson creatures who hide or stalk their prey. The long horse hides in plain sight and lets the prey come to him. When you see him or hear his neck cracking, that's his way of luring you into his trap by appearing to help but actually tricking you into being taken by this monster and never to return. It is said once he disappears with his prey, he moves on to another place so he isn't caught. So regardless if he is nice or evil, tread lightly if you are seen by this terrifying creature. The origin of this creature isn't particularly known, but it's said to have been around since the ancient times, when an ancient cave painting was discovered of the long horse surrounded by 3 people. Also, fun fact about the long horse, it is said to smell like cinnamon, so if you smell cinnamon you may encounter this creature. This doesn't help me, all my candles are cinnamon. Love cinnamon. Coming in at number 4, the lamb. The lamb is pink and fleshy with 4 legs that hang down from its body like noodles, and it tends to float in midair. Its body is made out of some sort of fleshy vein-like strings. This creature basically looks like a giant brain with legs. The lamb also has a large hole near the top of its body, and it's unknown if it's a large eye or a mouth. This hideous creature is related to 2 other Trevor Henderson creatures, Big Charlie and Lil Nugget. It is said the lamb is actually Lil Nugget grown from Big Charlie's meat chunks that have been cursed and grows hostile and has an appetite for flesh. The lamb doesn't possess too many different abilities compared to other Trevor Henderson creatures, but the ones it does are deadly. It said this creature causes massive psychic damage to its victims, and also if you try to shoot the being, it won't do much, so if you choose to try and run instead, you better be quick before the creature causes you a blood clot or the gravity to reverse. This monster is not only hideous, but it is extremely dangerous. If you ever come in contact with it, take extreme caution. It's also unknown on how to defeat this creature due to its psychic manipulation and thirst for human flesh. All I can say is if you come in contact with the lamb, you better run quick and don't stop. Coming in at number 3, wildfire giants. These are a large group of mysterious giant creatures, and each of these 8 giants, they have their own unique appearances, sizes, abilities, and behaviors. The creatures that are considered to be a part of this group is the hexapod giant, roothead, the meatball, signal bug, the darkness, fog riser, giant moth, and the bloomer. Each of these massive creatures are terrifying in their own way, but the scariest and most harmful to humans is the meatball. This monster looks like a large pinky red ball, appearing to be extremely wrinkly and fleshy with many thick veins and lumps bulging. Near the bottom of the head is a large mouth with thin and fleshy lips and several sets of sharp teeth in the front and back of its mouth. To the eye, this thing is hideous, which makes it even scarier because it's terrifying to look at. Considered to be one of the most intelligent members of the wildfire giants, the meatball possessed many different abilities, including levitation. They can bite large targets that causes severe damage and leaves a large amount of saliva after attacking their prey, which could drown or at least slow down their victims. This creature can also ascend from above to attack an individual or even a large group of people before disappearing back into the clouds above, and it's said that this creature not only kills people for food but also just for fun. Another terrifying fact about the meatball is that it has a laugh that resembles a loud shriek, which can cause victims temporary deafness, disorientation, and could possibly rattle their organs. The wildfire giants are a true force to be reckoned with due to their intimidating presence, dangerous abilities, and massive size, and they tend to roam around the state of California. So if you're going on vacation, be sure to make sure you're aware of your surroundings and stay in a group so you don't encounter these terrifying creatures. Coming in at number 2, we have the Wandering Faith. This dinosaur-looking creature looks like something straight out of Jurassic Park. This is one of the largest Trevor Henderson creatures. It can be up to 10 kilometers tall with 4 massive legs and grayish black skin. They appear to be quite skeletal in appearance, as the shape of the bones are visible despite having quite thick skin, and its body is lumpy and round but doesn't have any visible bones sticking out. Its neck is almost as thick as its body, that leads to its strange tubular head, and its neck is so long it can travel far into the clouds. The most terrifying is that it has 4 long tentacles branching out of its body, and those are used to lift its prey into its mouth and feed on them. The Wandering Faith is one of the most known members of the group of the giants. This group of creatures are said to roam the earth in a separate universe than other cryptids. Another scary fact about this creature is that it's able to reproduce. Yes, you heard that right. There could be multiple of these massive creatures wandering around. The theory says that it's able to reproduce with other giants and looks obviously very similar to the Wandering Faith, but it's smaller and thinner in size. Their name comes from a theory that the Wandering Faith was sent down from heaven to grab the believers, and their long tentacles actually raise them up to heaven. Even though it's ultimately their death, they say they go on to a better place, and this creature only attacks the most pure and faithful people, often being worshipped by people of faith. Also, something to know is that this creature only comes out on stormy and foggy days, so my advice would be to stay inside on those days to keep yourself safe, unless you are a worshipper of this monstrous creature and want to come into contact with him, then make sure to get out on those days and wish you luck. And finally, in at number 1 we have bridge worm / highway worm. The infamous bridge worm is a massive 85-ton long worm that is 9 feet long with human arms, and their face includes a layer of 36 sharp teeth that lines its huge mouth. This creature lurks under bridges along the highways. This terrifying creature can change its face through a flap of skin to lure their victims into thinking they're harmless. But before they realize they're in danger, the monster jumps out of the bridge showing its horrific grin, then grabbing the victim with its bony arms and ultimately killing them. If you get away from the creature's first attack, you better run because they have the ability to chase you down, so you better be quick. Also, the bridge worm's eyes are slanted and tend to flop around when they are attacking their prey. Something to note is that these creatures are very deceptive. They have the ability to camouflage themselves from you despite their size, and also have massive amounts of strength, so they're pretty much a triple threat, so beware. Once the bridge worm reaches adulthood, it is considered to now be a highway worm. It is theorized that this creature is a mutation of some sort of large worm species. Looking obviously similar to the bridge worm, its skin is grey and more of a dull yellow that appears leathery in texture. It also has 2 bright yellow glowing eyes on the top of its head. Similar to its younger self, the highway worm hides or camouflages itself before attacking its prey. It tends to lure out drivers on the highways that are alone, lunge out, break the car window, and quickly grab the driver with its sharp teeth and go back into hiding. Humans tend to be the main source of food for this creature, but they also feed on birds, snakes, deer, and larger rodents. The most terrifying fact is that it's unknown if you can capture or terminate this creature, so be careful and make sure to check your surroundings when traveling under bridges and on highways at night, because that is when this creature tends to hunt their prey due to them being nocturnal. The bridge and highway worms tend to exist mainly in the United States, in states like Florida, Alabama, and Georgia, but have also been spotted in areas such as the UK, France, Germany, and Denmark. Coming in at number 5 we have breaking news. This creature is one of the most iconic creations coming from Trevor Henderson, next to the Wandering Faith because of his appearance, massive size, and overall mystery. This creature is terrifyingly tall with a vaguely humanoid appearance, yet looks somewhat twisted and disfigured. His entire body is covered in what appears to be jet black skin, and his legs and torso look similar to humans just without certain features like hair. This monstrous creature stands over 1,200 feet tall and weighs over 4 million pounds, so it could quickly overpower you. His body is very malnourished looking with very thin legs and ribs popping out. His arms span 3,000 feet and is much thinner than his legs, but pretty much dominate his whole body. The most terrifying feature of breaking news is his crooked head, twisted neck, and featureless face with no mouth, eyes, ears, hair, anything. Just by looking at this creature will send chills down your spine. The behavior of this creature is not well known, and Trevor doesn't give much information about this creature besides 2 images, which make the mystery of this creature even greater. Just his appearance and mysteriousness makes this one of the most creepy Trevor Henderson creations. One fact has been confirmed about the breaking news, and that he is a part of the Giants, so people believe his behavior is similar to other members of this group. This massive creature is confirmed to be a destructive giant. He wanders around looking for any cities or humans it can find and destroy them, as well as any human he deems sinful or unworthy will be killed by this monster. The creature's massive size would easily allow it to cause mass destruction to not only humans but on a city-wide scale, since it has human-like hands to grab people or demolish buildings. Its human-like body would also help it to be an extremely fast-running creature and could also crawl on all fours for additional speed. And not only is his jet black skin terrifying to look at, but it helps him stay camouflaged at night. Another very creepy thing about breaking news is that despite having no face, it possesses all normal senses, and it is rumored this creature has some sort of additional supernatural or enhanced senses. In at number 4 we have Big Charlie. Big Charlie is a particularly strange creation of Trevor Henderson's because not much is known about the creature. Big Charlie is a large mammal-like creature that resembles some sort of mutant cattle, but also has a beak-like protrusion on the tip of its mouth. Its body is extremely skinny. You can actually see his ribcage popping out along with a thick dark mane that goes from his head to the back of this creature. His eyes are large and slightly bulge out and are white and foggy, so some believe this creature may be blind. According to Trevor Henderson's past Tumblr post, he mentioned that Big Charlie had escaped a meat processing plant, meaning he is some sort of animal hybrid made out of different kinds of meat. Creepy, I know. So many things are creepy and scary about this creature, one being that his location is unknown and he is apparently on the run, so Big Charlie could be anywhere. It is believed believe that this creature sometimes sheds his meat, and those pieces turn into different creations of Trevor's, such as Little Nugget, then grows up into the lamb or Void Nugget. It is said that Big Charlie is one of the weakest creatures, if not the weakest out of all of Trevor Henderson's creations, but it doesn't mean that it's extremely terrifying to look at and could cause harm because he is over 20 feet tall and weighs over 30 tons, so it could easily crush you. Big Charlie is known to be pretty harmless to humans, but if it feels threatened, all bets are off. A fun fact about Big Charlie is he is part of the SCP community and is SCP-4158 by the SCP Foundation. In at number 3 we have Good Boy. Good Boy is some sort of dog-like creature, but definitely not as cute. This creature has jet black fur and has a terrifying mean expression with foggy bluish white eyes, with no pupils and a gaping mouth with no teeth, tongue or uvula. Along with his other scary features, Good Boy's nose resembles that of a skeleton and has long legs, and its feet appear to be stubbed. Good Boy is known to be very evil and can run as fast as a cheetah, so if you come in contact with this mutant dog, it would be very hard to outrun him. Along with being an evil being, he possesses a toxic bite, sharp claws and harsh kills. In the past, Trevor started releasing artworks of many of his monsters as patron saints, and Cartoon Cat and Good Boy were one of the many creatures, but compared to the others, they weren't called patron saints and didn't have the sun-like symbols behind them like the others do. It is unknown why they didn't have these features, and after this incident some people started theorizing that Cartoon Cat and Good Boy are connected. Good Boy stalks and hunts his prey. He likes to roam around hotels and residential areas near people's front doors and waits until his victim opens the door before he ultimately kills them. It is unknown what the intention of these creatures are, but many speculate that he enjoys roaming around in order to eventually enter people's home to kill them, and he usually does these attacks at night. Due to his black fur, he can easily stay hidden from his prey. Good Boy is also known to reside in North America, and that's as specific as it gets, so beware if you're living there. Coming in at number 2 we have Bellringer. This grotesque creature weighs around 210 pounds, over 6 feet tall, and looks to have yellowish orange skin. The Bellringer depicts a human-like figure, and the entirety of this creature besides its arms appear to be mere skeleton, held together by some sort of fully encompassing web-like material, possibly muscular tissue or mucus. Its body is entirely comprised of uneven ribs due to the pelvis, and is connected to a spinal cord and columns that appear to be smoothly bent in a zigzag line, starting at the back of the torso, then the front, then the back again. The creature's chest area has a very large and wide rib cage, with 8 ribs on one side and 13 on the other, and the ribs on the right side are longer than the left. Strangely, the arms of this monster are connected to the lower part of its chest area rather than the shoulders. They are also not actually connected to any of the other bones, instead being connected to the encompassing body material with another red substance, almost appearing to be glued on. The Bellringers tend to be motivated by hunting humans and consuming them in order to survive. Some abilities and survival tactics he possesses is pack hunting, clawing, camouflage, intelligence, and disorientating his victims. The location of this scary creature isn't known, but it is rumored he resides in a half-burned, abandoned high school. An interesting fact about the Bellringer is that he is rumored to be a possible relative to the famous SIREN head, but that can't be confirmed. I feel like this creature's appearance alone makes it terrifying, creepy, ugly, scary, and terrifying. Along with his abilities, the Bellringer is one of the biggest threats to humans out of all of Trevor Henderson's creations. And finally, in at number 1 we have the Pink Man / Forgotten Baby. This creature somewhat resembles that of a human baby, but much more hideous and frightening looking. Having pinkish skin and a very large head, its torso looks very thin and malnourished, and is considered to be an extraterrestrial figure. The theory is that the bizarre body structure and large head and beady eyes line up with a stereotypical depiction of an alien. It's said that this alien was sent to Earth with the mission to adapt to the environment and thrive in it, and the baby-like appearance may have been a poorly made ploy to get humans to believe they're cute and innocent, but ultimately making it an easier kill to the Forgotten Baby. This frightening creature stands at over 7 feet and weighs over 130 pounds, so that is a big boy. The most notable and disturbing feature of this baby is its large, bald and fleshy head, and seems to be much larger than the rest of the body. His face is completely expressionless, but has large, beady and soulless eyes with black irises taking up the top half of the face. A single, hardly visible nostril appears to be the fusion of 2 nostrils, are in the center of it with a partially open mouth with very large red lips and what looks like blood dripping from it. This is basically a baby from hell. There isn't too much known about this strange creature's behavior, but we do know that the Forgotten Baby is a sinister cryptid. The most emphasized ability of this creature is its extreme stealth and quietness, which allows this creature to sneak into people's homes without them noticing until it's too late. It is said this demonic creature thrives killing and eating people, so it constantly is breaking and entering houses to take revenge on people, and impaling them with its skinny sharp legs and devouring its victims. The Forgotten Baby also has enhanced agility, above average eyesight, and has the ability to cause depression to its victims. So for all these reasons, that is why the Forgotten Baby is number 1 on this list.